you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you, everybody, for being here today. I really appreciate it. Ms. Goldstein, question about stablecoins. But first of all, new technology is something I'm always very interested in, and innovation. I think it's one of our things our country does so well. But I am concerned about cryptocurrency and stable coins. And one aspect of stable coins is that, in theory, it provides a bit more stability, linking the coin to a reserve. But a key issue to address as it relates to stable coins is ensuring sufficient transparency to protect the users, the folks who buy stable coins. So how do we ensure that there is sufficient transparency about the reserves utilized in stabilizing the coin's value? So could you talk a little bit about that, to transparency and the requirements for disclosure, if there are some?
Thank you for the question, Senator. I think there are a lot of different ways that we could approach this problem, and it sort of depends on the stablecoin, right? Some stablecoins are algorithmic, and they have a basket of assets, and they move around. Some are meant to be pegged to the dollar or another fiat currency. And I think there are a lot of different places that different regulators could approach this problem. Some stablecoins may be securities that should be regulated by the SEC, which would bring a substantial amount of transparency. The Presidential Working Group has considered, that the prudential regulators have asked Congress to look into doing some legislation around stablecoins. There's also a role for FinCEN to play and make sure that stablecoin issuers who are doing redemptions and also issuing these new stablecoins aren't doing anything that involves any sort of financial crimes. There's also, I think, an important piece about stablecoins, which is that DeFi doesn't work without stablecoins. And that is a new and emerging piece of this marketplace that is operating in some cases without adherence to some of our existing laws, like Know Your Customer, anti-money laundering compliance, and combating terrorist financing. So I think, unfortunately, there's no easy answer. There's perhaps a role for every single regulator, and of course a role for state attorneys general, right? I actually think that Tether might be a little bit behind. They're supposed to give a quarterly disclosure about their reserves, and I'm not quite sure that they have done that on time. So there's also a role for state law enforcement as well.
So in general, do you feel we need more transparency and disclosure than we have today with regards to stablecoins?
I think that would be helpful, but I also think that the regulators have a number of tools to ensure that currently, and I would encourage them to use the tools they currently have to make that happen.
Well, thank you, Ms. Goldstein, and Mr. Chairman, I yield back the remainder of my time.
Senator, thank you very much. And our ultimate questioner, the distinguished senator from Texas, Senator Cruz.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and I appreciate the adjective as the ultimate questioner.